flipping lapwing. So obviously there's a wattled lapwing nest around here. And the thing dive bombed us in the car. So it's obviously got a nest, very upset. Okay, I don't want to upset you, wattled lapwing. I will move along. Just don't come in from behind and whack me on the back of the head. I've never been whacked by a lapwing before, but I've been whacked by starlings. Actually, one starling once drew blood on my dad. So on our family farm, I used to have to go turn on the water pump to fill up the water tanks. And red-winged starlings were nesting in that room where the water pump was. And it became quite the gauntlet to try to turn on the water pump. You sort of ran in and flicked the switch and ran out. And they'd dive bomb you. Very aggressive around their nest, starlings. Kristen is wondering, do you have any invasive bird species in the Mara? Not that I've seen. In Kenya, yes. In Nairobi, Mombasa, and on the coast, the Indian house crow is a very bad invasive bird species that kills a lot of other birds, and in particular their babies. But I haven't seen any in the Mara as of yet. So Craig, I'm going to let you make a decision, left or right? Left. Okay, so we're definitely going to go right. I'm only joking, Craigie. I see a bunch of cars up there. I think the Angamas might be here. So we've managed to circumvent the Samaki swamp. So we're now heading towards the river or the stream or the laga that flows into the swamp, the Sheni Laga, and that actually sources right next to our camp. And that's the main feeder into the Sheni swamp, is that lovely ravine that's below final control. Oh, what have we got up there? Bethany would like to know, where does the Mara River end? It flows into Tanzania, very close to the Purangat Bridge. It then takes a sharp turn to the west and flows through the Lamai Wedge, and eventually it ends up in Lake Victoria. So one could argue that the Mara River becomes the Nile River, because of course Lake Victoria is the source of the White Nile, not the Blue Nile. The source of the Blue Nile is, of course, the Ethiopian highlands. Craig and I were actually chatting a little bit earlier. I am dead set on an adventure to Uganda to go white water raft on the Nile River. I think that'll be lots of fun. I say I've white water rafted the Zambezi, so I think the Nile's next on the list. Christy is wondering how much water normally accumulates in a year. Well, it's difficult to judge, but the mean annual rainfall around here is about 1,200 millimeters per year. To give you an example, Djuma's average mean annual rainfall is about 350 millimeters per year. So we get close on 1,000 millimeters more than the Sabi Sands. There's only one place I've lived in Africa that gets even more rain than that, and that is of course the Congo Basin forests in Gabon, where you can get over 2,000 millimeters a year. What's 2,000 millimeters? Over 2 meters. So more water than me. Oh, there's lots of elephants here. Hello, elephants. Lovely herd. Now, the elephants really like these areas. So you'll see the trees up ahead, and that's where that stream I was talking about that flows from Final Control ends basically, and then the water spreads out through this grassland and seeps down towards the Samaki Marsh. And of course, at the top end where the water first hits, there's also a lot of silt that's washed down from the escarpment, so very rich in nutrients, so very good soils. So the grass here is spectacular, and you often get the elephants congregating on these areas where these streams spill out into the grassland. Jean is wondering, what is the rainfall like in the dry season in the Mara? Well, it's wetter than the wet season at Djuma. Let's just put it that way. So it's a seriously big group of Ellies here. Lovely. There's a big bull there. Wonderful. Elephants taking advantage now that the wildebeest have left. Chatting to Jamie, who's on the other side, so there's still quite a lot of wildebeest around the Sand River. Hey guys, getting that lovely nutritious green grass. And there's a big bull coming through to the right there. A little there, you look at him, you can see the massive size difference between a male and female elephant. Nice set of ivory on him. Probably around 35, 40 years old, so very much in his prime. I'm just going to move up ahead to where the elephants are moving towards, and then we'll sit there for a while and maybe even just take a moment to just enjoy this incredible experience of a massive herd of elephants walking past you. Doing quite a bit of waving as we get to the spot I want to be in. Habari mzee? Jambo habari? Safi. Kabisa sana. Toa lini bado kidogo. Vichwe moja, but amna safi nalaga hapa chini sana. Hi guys. Yes, we're live right now, can you believe it? So there's people watching behind us. Yes. Well, thank you. Well, there we go. So don't forget, if you're going to be home at the end of the month, 29th. Exactly, and every day, 6 hours a day on YouTube, you can find us.
Great. Well, we watched you guys and the other two.
Yes, yeah. They're around somewhere out there.
Great.
Yeah. Yeah. So our camp's actually on top of the hill over there, so that's where we stay.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Well,
nice to finally see.
Lovely to meet you guys as well. My name is Brent.
Right.
Yes. The one who's always covered in shukas. It is. It gets really cold when you sleep out there all night. So there we go, guys. We're meeting some Safari Live fans. So we are live currently at the moment on YouTube, and people are asking us questions on hashtag Safari Live. So when you get home, be sure to watch us again. Wonderful. Thanks very much, Mum. Well, that's really nice to hear. It's lovely to meet you guys. I'm going to take everyone else on a game drive and go pop over there. Exactly. Cheers, guys. Santim's there. Bye. Oh, sorry about that, everyone, but you know, the fans call. Hi, guys. Okay, I'm just trying to get It was there he is. There's the cute baby Ellie I was looking for. Tiny little guy. So it seems like Tristan's broke his car, Taylor's fighting gremlins, so you're stuck with Batman and I. There we go, there's a tiny little one amongst the legs there that I wanted to show you. Now Louis is wondering, what is the maximum size of an elephant? Size for a very big male is probably around 6 tons. The largest body size of an elephant ever recorded was 9 tons. So 9,000 kilograms of an elephant bull from southern Angola. So that is the largest, generally the largest, that's what's going on behind us, there's some talking. The largest, the tallest, sorry, not the largest, not the heaviest, but on average, not always, but often the tallest elephants are considered to be from South Africa, and from the coastal plain, from the Tembe Elephant Reserve, and some of them can reach close to 5 meters at the shoulder, so very, very big. So there we go. So I wanted to show you that baby, but the rest of the herd looks like it's about to head straight towards us. And it's, as I said, it's a lovely big herd. There we go. Hello, guys. Christy's wondering, do elephants sneeze? Indeed they do. I have seen an elephant sneeze on occasion. Not quite what we'd expect. It doesn't really sound like a sneeze, but instead do sort of expel irritants from inside their trunk. I said I should be moving slowly towards us, and I think this is probably the best seat in the house where we are at the moment, and hopefully they're going to sort of engulf us. It is a very special experience being surrounded by elephants. Now, of course, it can be a very scary experience if you get the situation wrong and you read the situation wrong. But fortunately, I'm quite confident watching this elephant behavior that they are very relaxed, and I think we're in for a treat. Now, that was complaining elephant to elephant. That had nothing to do with the vehicles or us. It was an elephant complaining at an elephant. Now, there's a whole range of vocalizations that elephants use for different things. I mean, there's even sort of a weaning one. So when an elephant calf's being weaned, there's sort of a from a mom saying, "No more milk." There's distress, there's joy, there's play. So they're absolutely fascinating animals, and definitely one of the more complex wild animals in terms of social structure and their verbal communications. Snazzy is wondering, do elephants and giraffe get along? Well, they don't not get along, and there's very little competition between them, and so they pretty much just ignore each other. Sometimes it's quite nice to just sit quietly and enjoy the little one and the little one suckling. Such a peaceful evening. So Chris and Mallory from Texas are wondering, what is my most dangerous encounter with elephants as a guide? Well, it actually wasn't while I was guiding. I've had a few close calls, but never guiding guests. I've had some close calls running anti-poaching and then doing some consulting in the Gabonese rainforest. I was actually picked up and thrown into a tree by a female elephant in Gabon. It wasn't her fault though. She was being scared by a big helicopter, and she got a fright and she ran towards, and I had some volunteers with me, and I got them out of the way. And when I tried to stop her charge by shouting at her, she picked me up and threw me into a tree, and that's why I've got a gammy hip. And then when she was coming down to sort of kneel on me, I had my fishing rod with me in a cover, and probably one of the only people in the world to say a fishing rod saved my life, and a fishing rod indeed saved my life. So what happened is, as she came down, I hit her with the fishing rod in a PVC case, and the rattle of the rods is a noise that she was unused to, and it disturbed her, and she then ran away. I then had a dislocated hip, and then had to use a stick to walk about 6 kilometers to the beach where a helicopter could pick me up and take me to a doctor. That's my most dangerous situation with elephants, and it wasn't their fault. It was the helicopter's fault. The first thing I did afterwards when I got back was immediately go walk straight up to an elephant on foot to make sure I wasn't scared of them. Fortunately, I wasn't. Robin is wondering, what is the best way to deal with an angry elephant? Robin, it completely depends. Every situation is different. So you have to read each individual situation. Sorry, I'm just putting my jersey on. It's getting a bit cold. Each individual situation differently. So there is no one right way. There's multiple ways, and it can change depending on the day, the circumstance, where you are, what stress the elephant's under, what stress you're under. So it's very important not to make one set rule when it comes to those type of situations. You must be able to do flexible, but the most important thing is always just stay calm. Now, I'm trying to remember. There is a Safari Live story out there somewhere of how to deal with a naughty elephant, and I think I generally give them a good talking to. They like listening to me, or they tend to listen to me. If they misbehave, I chastise them, give them a wagging finger. Hello, little one. Paul would like to know, how far will an elephant travel to get to good grassland? Now, Paul, it completely depends, again, on the area. So elephants in more arid areas like Savo will travel bigger distances than elephants in the Mara. The elephants in the Mara tend to be quite residential, and they stick around certain areas. It's only really when the wildebeest come in en masse that they'll move up towards the escarpment and into the forests, and that's more to avoid the absolute pandemonium that is caused by millions of wildebeest stamping around being absolute nanas. So it all depends. As I say, every area is different. Elephants in Botswana can travel over 100 kilometers, and that's not so much for grazing but for water. So again, arid areas, elephants will tend to move further. So when the rain pools dry out, and in a place where you don't get rain during the wet season, during the dry season, they will then move on to the permanent water holes or permanent rivers. So, and sometimes that can be 100 kilometers. So, good examples of that is northern Botswana, the Luangwa Valley in Zambia, the Selous in Tanzania, and I'm sure Savo in Kenya, and Samburu. So it all depends. Each area has got its whole own unique set of circumstances, and those circumstances can change from year to year. Absolutely gorgeous. Proud Cat Mama of 2 is wondering, what is the average size of their tusks? Look, there's 2 over there, Craig, that are being quite friendly. Now, it completely depends, and again, a lot of area-specific behavior and area-specific genetics. Ooh, you heard that. So what you'll find in the Mara is elephants tend to have much longer tusks, sometimes thinner but longer. You don't find nearly as many broken tusks as you would in Djuma, and that's again a product of the habitat they're in. So here, where they don't eat a lot of trees, the majority of their food is made up of lovely lush grasses. They don't need to use their tusks as much to strip bark and to push down trees and break branches. So you find a lot less broken tusks here and a lot more sort of even tusks. Where there is a Djuma, you will find a lot more broken tusks. In Botswana, you find very short, stumpy, thick tusks. Oh, look through that gap through there. Is that the same big male? That looks bigger. No, it's the same guy. Just another lovely big elephant bull. Speaking of tusks, there he is. He's got lovely tusks. Hey, big boy. These elephants are really enjoying this lush grass here. Kristen's wondering, have I ever seen elephant tusks that cross each other? Actually, I've seen a few elephant females in the Mara whose tusks cross each other. So, yes, it does happen from time to time. And again, it's very particular to different areas. You're generally only going to find that in an area where the elephants aren't utilizing their tusks too much to strip bark and wear trees, where they have this absolutely amazing grassland to feed off. Because, of course, there's a lot more nutrients in grass than in trees. And perfect example here, you'll probably find nearly 80% of an elephant's year-round diet here is grass, and only 20% made up of bushes and trees and shrubs, where there is somewhere like Djuma, the wet season diet of an elephant is 80% grass, 20% trees, and then the dry season it inverts to about 80% trees and bushes and only 20% grass. Now that, of course, those are very general figures. They, in certain areas that there will be quite a bit of variance on that. Kathy is wondering, do baby elephants use their trunk to nurse? No, they don't, Kathy. They'll actually tuck their trunk over their head, and they will suckle directly from their mouth. Okay, well, I think we're going to leave these lovely Ellies. We've had such a wonderful time here. Let's go see what else we can find. Lions. Which way? Let's go this way. So here's the stream that comes from right in front of final control. There's actually 2 of them that join. This is how it empties out, and that's why there's so much nice grass here. And you can see that. So this is what we would refer to as a laga. You can see it's just flowing, little trickles. Now, of course, the high water table here, it's flowed for most of the year. There was only about a month or two when this wasn't flowing. Whee! Splash! Oh, there's this young bull elephant I saw a few days ago. And I mean, he's not even, I'd say he's like 17, 18. And he's already got some seriously long ivory on him. So when he gets bigger, I think he's going to be quite the impressive young bull. He's already quite impressive. Hey, you. So you can see already that ivory is already very long. Isn't that lovely? So young and already such lovely ivory. So Carsten in Denmark is saying, if you find a broken tusk, do you leave the tusk there or do you pick it up? Generally, Carsten, it is illegal to pick up ivory in Africa. You can go to jail for a long time. What we normally do is you'll either GPS mark it, hide it, and then give it to the local rangers. So if you are ever in Africa and you do find a piece of ivory, do not pick it up. Leave it where it is. If you do pick it up, you are likely to go to jail. And most African jails, well, no jails are pleasant, but African jails are especially unpleasant in certain parts of Africa. So don't pick up ivory. Just leave it be. So there we go. You can see. Okay. Let's go find some lions. What do you think, Craig? Lion time. Bye, guys. So we're getting that time of the day where we are able to be the only car out in the Mara. So just a quick update for everyone. Taylor is fighting off some gremlins. Alex is on it. He's trying to figure it out. And Tristan is under the car, apparently. So hopefully one of them will be out soon and helping us out. But till then, as I say, you're with the Batman and myself. I just want to have a quick stop around here and a quick listen. And there's a bird I'm hankering to show you that I've heard calling in this little bit of forest off to the left here. let's just stop and listen for a second. And the sun is starting to set. So it's gone behind the escarpment now. So it's going to be a while till we get that lovely orange color. But I'm sure it's coming. Isn't it just the most gorgeous evening? We can hear some francolins calling. So we get some of the similar francolin species here. And I'm going to see if we can find them. So that's a red-necked francolin, or one of the red-necked francolins calling. Now I'm going to go see if we can find the Angama pride back up towards camp and around their favorite lugger. While we do that, it seems like Alex, our Russian genius, has got Taylor up and running again. So let's go see how Madam McCurdy is doing. Welcome back. So maybe Madam McCurdy's got no sound, so you are still with us. But we're having a great time, so let's carry on. Well, it's the Brent and Batman show today. So what I'm doing is I'm heading back towards, I know the Angamas were around one of their favorite sort of lugger this morning, but there's a lot of zebra up towards the escarpment, and we've been having such wonderful sightings of them there. So I'm hoping as it gets darker, they're going to come up towards the escarpment and start hunting. Now, I have got a quiz for all of you, and I know I've talked about it on Drive a few times in the past. So here we go. I would like to know who was the first man to walk from Cape Town to Cairo. And he's actually very, very much connected to Kenya. So thought it was a fitting question. So who was the first man to walk from Cape Town to Cairo? I'll tell you why he walked from Cape Town to Cairo. So he was a poor, lowly, well, he wasn't born to the upper crust of society, but he fell in love with a lovely young lady who was from the upper crust of society. So he decided he had to marry this lady and went to see her dad, and her dad basically scoffed him and said, "The only way you will marry my daughter is if you walk from Cape Town to Cairo." So he did, and he did marry her. So, well, it seems like Jamie has up and about, and she's manning the river cam. So let's go see what's happening there.
I am indeed, and what perfect timing. Look at that. Hopefully that's not what the hippo's opinion is on my narrating for this evening of the river cams. But a very good evening to all of you. I am sitting manning the river cams up at the top of the Olololo escarpment, and of course the river cams providing us with the most extraordinary view of the wildlife that this area has to offer, and of course during the migration the crossings as well. No, go up, camera, go up. Oh no, up, the other up. Ah, This isn't working at all. For those of you wondering about the disembodied voice that is emanating from your screens, my name is Jamie, and I happen to know why said person walked from Cape to Cairo. I know because I hear that story about once a week. And the reason that he did, of course, was to win the heart of a lady, or at least win the heart of the lady's father, I believe, or win the permission that he was going to need. Right, let's see if we can move the camera. Yes, we can. Of course, as most of you know, we have had a substantial amount of rain here in the Mara over the course of the last week or so. And we've been neglectful of our river cameras because all three of us have been really rather busy and we haven't had time to sit up ensconced in the studio. I wonder how James would feel. I might go and move some of his stuff around just to see if he notices, hide something somewhere, just to see. He is away, of course, for the duration of 2 weeks. But the rain, if we have a look at the Mara River, I don't think I've ever seen it as full as it is at the moment. Manu and myself, Manu of course being one of our cameramen, he was out with me for 2 days and we drove back over the Burungat Bridge yesterday. Oh no, this morning. Oh, it feels like yesterday. This morning. And it was extraordinary just how high the Mara River is. Just look at this. Some of you might be familiar with this view. It is a main north crossing. We often see wildebeest and zebra crossing around here. And if they don't cross here, they cross over there. Oh, this camera doesn't want to go up. It doesn't want to go up. Oh no. Okay, over there in the background. I know now we're focused on the tiny bush. But in the background over there is main south crossing. Imagine what it would look like now. Imagine what these poor wildebeest would have to go through in order to get across this river. I have never ever seen it like this. It's actually quite extraordinary. Well, since our yawning hippos disappeared, let us do some scanning around and see if we can find anything on main south, since main north is really being rather difficult. So if we could have a quick switch across to the main south camera. Baby, please. Please, I beg of you. Thank you very much, Chantal. So there we go. This is main south. There we go. And this is, of course, where the Paradise Pride enjoy spending a great deal of their time. They hide in the thickets and the rocks over here. Now, of course, they have no reason to do that at the moment because the crossings aren't happening right now. I can tell you that the wildebeest there's not that many of them on the opposite side of the river. We drove around there 2 days ago, and there's a lot more a bit further to the south. If we look to the south, we can't see Lookout Hill, of course, from this vantage point, but a bit further to the south, there are many thousands of wildebeest that are starting to gather around the lookout crossings. And a good evening to James. Is that a hippo? Is that a rock? Are we going to get lucky? Is that a hippo? Is that a rock? It's a rock. It's a hippo rock. I'm not sure. Let's have a look. Let's keep watching it. Everybody, try and take some deep breaths. It could. Oh, there's a crocodile at least. Oh, thank goodness. Oh, Jamie's out of practice with the river cam. Jamie apologizes. There you go. It was a rock, but it is also a crocodile off on the left. James, in terms of the species in the Mara that become more prominent, I'm going to have to say the insects. I think, look above the water. Look really closely. I don't know if you can see it. I can see it. You can actually see thousands and thousands of insects blowing around there. That, little midges flying about over the surface of the water. So insects, I think that really goes without saying. That applies across the board. I, of course, saw the one hedgehog, which I feel like might have been as a result of the rain, because it came out foraging, looking for various things to catch. Otherwise, the animal life remains pretty much the same in terms of what we see out here. And it just goes to show, we always talk about when we watch the crossings, just how much death there is involved. But now look at this particular crocodile sitting quietly, waiting, and this could be its life for the next couple of months until the wildebeest return once again. So they do really have to take full advantage. Bethany, you want to know what our best sighting has been on the river camera? There have been so many to actually try and work out. I had one where we just missed a lion kill, and then we had one where we actually managed to see, we saw her emerge out of the bushes and grab a young wildebeest calf. Those moments are extraordinary because they're just so unexpected. I would also say that the baby zebra walking across the back of the crocodile, that to me will always be my favorite. I really, you can't help, you shouldn't really take sides, but you can't help but be on the side of the zebra foal, crossing the river for the first time, the raging torrent of the Mara River. And this actually really is a raging torrent. And the fact that the little zebra foal walked across the back of the crocodile and made it across to the opposite bank safely, I think it's safe to say that was my favorite sighting. I'd love to hear from you, of course, those of you that have been watching our river crossings when we've gone live. Do you have a particular favorite sighting that you've enjoyed? Sometimes I confess the human part of me has struggled with the crossings, particularly when the poor wildebeest struggle and they drown. It's just, I've found it quite distressing at times. If I can get cul-de-sac to focus, hold on one moment. I'm going to show you something else, something interesting. Come on. Focus. Oh, it's just too close. I was going to try and show you the poison apple that's growing at cul-de-sac crossing, but it's not really working. All right, so we will be starting a school drive this evening. Obviously, as you know, it's something that we all really enjoy doing here, both in the Mara and in Djuma, sharing these amazing sites with various children and basically letting them know what's out here in the big, vast spaces of the African wilderness. It really is a special thing. What that means is that we will be focusing on the questions of the kids. The drive will continue as normal, though, so it's not a farewell to all of you. It's just simply we will be focusing on the questions that the kids send through to us. So I'm going to say not goodbye, but call an end to our regular drive, and we will be starting off our school drive this evening.
Welcome everybody, and of course a big welcome to all the wonderful children who are joining us from Monroe Elementary. It's good to have you this afternoon. My name is Taylor, and bringing you all the fantastic wildlife on this vehicle is David. And wasn't that a beautiful sunset that we've just seen? Now remember, because this is happening right now in Kenya, in Africa, it means that you can ask us questions. So you just have to ask your teacher the questions, and then she will send them to us, and then I can answer any questions that you have. But it's quite dark now. The sun has already dropped behind the horizon, leaving beautiful colors in the sky, don't you think? Looks like someone's got hold of a paintbrush of sorts. Now we have a tricky step ahead of us, and that is to try and do a 37-point turn. Because in these big safari cars, they're not the easiest to turn. It's definitely no sports car. Now, we're out here. We're actually quite close to the Mara River, and we're going to have a look at some of the river points. We'll have to bring the spotlight out soon, though. But it's good. I think you've joined us at a very nice time. Even though we haven't found any lions yet, this is the time of the day that they get on the move. So we could see many different animals, from lions to hyenas to leopards. They like to live along the rivers and in the drainage lines. We could see jackals, which look like a fox. We could see, there's so many different nocturnal animals out here. This is a very exciting time. This is one of my favorite times. It's just as the sun has set. It is so beautiful. So we'll go and check a few favorite spots of lions that we have seen over the past couple of days along the river. See, normally at this time of the year there's big herds of wildebeest crossing the Mara River heading south back to the Serengeti, but they've already done so very early this year, which makes me a little bit sad, because this is my first time up in Kenya and I thought the animals were going to put on a show for me. But things don't go according to plan, especially out here with nature. The animals do what they want when they want. Who have we got running on the ground? Who on earth is that? Bat-eared foxes! No ways! Do you know how lucky you are to see these creatures? Oh my goodness, I cannot believe it. I've been seeing them all the time. Now, they're very shy, they're very elusive. You can see they're running away. That's amazing. I thought that they would have been jackals, but this is even better. Now, they're probably trying to get away from us. We're actually quite far away, so hopefully they settle down. We've stopped the car now. Oh, but they get active at this time. See, so they're nocturnal, so they don't like to come out during the day. They prefer this crepuscular period, so just as the light starts to dip. That's amazing. And then you'll see there's an antelope, a Thompson's gazelle, or not antelope, a gazelle, sorry. There we go. But they're not worried about those little creatures. They won't be eating anything as large as a Thompson's gazelle. They prefer little insects, and they'll catch mice and things when they can, but they mainly feed on insects. And there's lots of grasshoppers around at the moment after all the rain. So I'm sure they'll be digging for them. They'll dig for grubs and beetles in the soil. But now they're really just worried about getting away from us. That's amazing! That's the first time, I must tell you, that I've put bat-eared foxes on screen. So you're all very, very lucky, and I know the regular viewers will be absolutely ecstatic about that sighting. But we're dedicating the next 45 minutes to all of you at school, and I can't wait for some of your questions. But now we're going to go across to my friend Brent, and he has got quite a large mammal that normally spends most of its day in the water.
That's right, and this is a hippopotamus who does spend most of his day in the water, and that's the very cool thing about being out as it gets dark. You get to see things like those bat-eared foxes that Taylor just showed you, and of course now we get to see a hippo out of the water, and you can actually see how big they are, and they eating grass, so they spend their days in the water, then they come out to munch on the grass. Now, I'm looking for lions around here, and a big welcome to Monroe Elementary. My name is Brent, and it's getting very exciting because it's about to get dark, so we could see some very cool things. Lions, hyenas, servals, civets, genets, all the little nocturnal creatures that are about to get out. So I think the lions are close around here somewhere, and there's a big pride of lions around here that really like this area. So I can hear a jackal, which is very similar to a coyote, and it was alarm calling. It was going row, 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 which means when they alarm call, they've seen something that's bigger and scarier than them, like a lion. So I'm going to move towards, there's a little river just over there, and the lions like to spend a lot of time there. So I'm hoping as it gets darker, we're going to find them coming out and getting on the move. Now, another exciting thing is that the next time you see us, we're going to have some very cool technical equipment to use out on the safari. We've got some infrared lights which enable us to see in the dark, and we've even got a FLIR thermal camera, and that will enable us to pick up. No, we don't have a FLIR. My cameraman is saying no, we don't have a FLIR. Sorry, I thought we had a FLIR. We don't. So we'll have a FLIR tomorrow, I think. There we go, nod from the cameraman. But we've got some infrared equipment and special low light cameras that will enable us to see things in the pitch black. And that enables us to see a lot of the really, really cool nocturnal animals you don't really get to see too often. We start waking up, we can actually hear some toads. So there's lots of little patches of water around here, and you can hear them rah, rah, rah. Now, a toad is actually a frog. It's not a different type of thing, but it's called a toad because it's got a very special thing on top of its head. So if you've ever seen a toad, just behind its eyes there's a raised sort of piece of skin, and there's a gland in there. It's called a bufo gland, and it releases toxins that make other animals not eat the toads. So if you've ever had a dog that has bitten a toad, they start frothing at the mouth, and they can't actually kill it. And that's from those toxins. It's a toad's defense mechanism. So Laura is wondering, what do hippos eat? Laura, as I said a little bit earlier, they spend all day in the water, and then they come out at night to eat grass. So they're basically big African lawnmowers. We've got next to us. There she is. This is a Maasai giraffe. And she'll probably stay in this area for the night. She might even lie down to have a snooze. Oh, in the tree there, we've got lots of birds about to go to sleep. Oh, they're flying up and landing. And those are called guinea fowl. So they're sort of the equivalent to a bushveld chicken, about the same size as a chicken. They run around in flocks eating grass seeds, and they spend 90% on their time on the ground, but when it gets dark they go up into the trees to avoid the little nocturnal predators. Yeah, all the different sounds now. The crickets are starting to make noises. This is definitely my favorite time of the day. All this in sunrise. Now, the reason I'm not driving at the moment is because I'm looking for lions. And at this time of the day, the lions start to call. There we go, giraffe having a last minute nighttime snack. So Toad would like to know, how fast do hippos run? Faster than Usain Bolt. They can run they can run about 55 kilometers an hour. So I'm not only listening for the big lion roars, I'm also listening for contact calls. Now, what contact calls are the soft calls that lions use to talk to each other when they start getting moving. And they sound like this. Ow! 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 Oh. Anthony is wondering, can hippos float? Anthony, unfortunately they can't even swim. Can you believe it? Even though they live in the water. So what they do is they actually run along the bottom of the water when they have to move between places. Now, guys, I want you to do something with me. And let's see. I'm going to teach you how to do a lion's roar. Are you ready? Are you guys ready? So I want everyone in the classroom to do this with me. And I will tell you what a lion says as well. So you've got to go like this. So is everyone ready? Everyone ready to roar like a lion? So you've got to go like this. I can hear a jackal alarming, so I'm going to get my spotlight out shortly. And I'm just going to teach you. Now, what do you think that lion is saying? So lions, when they call loudly like that, they're telling all the other lions that this is their spot, their territory. So it's saying, this is my turf, don't come here, otherwise I'm going to fight with you. So what a lion's actually saying, he's going, whose land is it? Whose land is it? Whose land is it? it's mine, it's mine, it's mine. So there we go. That's what a lion's saying when he's calling out there. Now let me just get my spotlight out from under all my blankies and stuff here, because sometimes we stay out late at night and it gets cold, so I've got to have a blankie with me. There we go. I want to see if those lions are around here. So I'm going to move around. I think they're down there somewhere. So while we do that, let's go see how Taylor's nocturnal travels are going.
No? I've got no comms. Really? Oh. Chantal, can you talk to me? Sorry, I've got absolutely no comms whatsoever. Sorry, everybody. I don't have any communication with anyone in Final Control at all. So I won't be able to answer any of your questions, unfortunately. So we haven't seen anything else since we saw those bat-eared foxes. They ran off into the distance, but I've got my spotlight out and I'm looking for the night. I also broke my earpiece and we seem to having some problem with our infrared light. So we are being attacked by many this afternoon. It has not been very pleasant, but one of those things, hey, when you try and bring a live broadcast from the middle of Africa. So there's lots of animals we could see, but at the moment the animals seem to be very sort of few and far between, where normally we have massive big herds. But they have all gone south to Tanzania, so we're not actually far from another country, which is quite cool. Let's see, so I'm going to just keep scanning here, and as I scan it's important that I watch where the light goes, because if I don't, then I'm going to miss the reflection of the eyes of the animals, and then I won't be able to find anything. So that's what I'm doing. I'm looking for the reflection of eyes, and then I'll go, okay, it's an impala, which is an antelope. I can't look at them at night. Oh, another bat-eared fox. Are you kidding me? This is an even better view. Oh my goodness, our luck is unbelievable. Never mind seeing them running away, to see one having a drink of water too. This is unbelievable. And quite relaxed actually. I mean, it's running now. I'll keep the spotlight on it. It doesn't mind the spotlight. That's unbelievable. I don't even know what to say. Hey David, I'm absolutely speechless with the luck that I've been having, and I'm so glad that I've finally been able to share it with you. Now, let's see what it's going to do. It's quite interesting. I've never spent time with a bat-eared fox before because they are so shy. So I don't actually even know much about their feeding habits other than what I've read in books. It'll be really interesting to see how they forage. Now, they've got relatively big ears. There's an impala, that's an antelope, but they're not worried about that fox, like I said. They've got very, very big ears, so they'll be able to hear insects moving in the grass. They'll be able to hear insects moving below the ground. They've also got a very good sense of smell, and they'll use a combination of those senses to try and find their food. And with all the rain that we've had at the moment, the ground is nice and soft. So they, of course, will be able to get all the little beetles and things and dig down into the soil quite easily. You're so lucky. I can't tell you how lucky you are to see those beautiful creatures. But it's shy now. It's hidden in the grass. That's okay. That's not a problem. It gave us a fantastic view. So we'll carry on. That's a good idea. I don't know where my phone is. But hang on, there's a hyena. There's another nocturnal creature. I'm so excited about that bat-eared fox that we get to see. And it's just running now. We'll stop here. It should run into frame. Now, much bigger than that little bat-eared fox that we saw, so they don't mind the spotlight. So this is a spotted hyena, and they are mainly known for being scavengers. So they clean up all the leftovers in the bush, but they're very good hunters, and here they live in really big clans. So we call a group of hyenas clans. They're basically family groups, so it's females. There it goes. Right, so apparently I'm supposed to check my mobile device for a question. Let's see. It's open from Megan. Megan's Oh, here we go. Now, a question from Abby about the bat-eared fox. And that was, how fast does a bat-eared fox run? Abby, unfortunately, I have no idea. I've never tested the speed of a bat-eared fox. That's normally what we only see them doing is running away. But I wouldn't have a clue. I don't think they can run as fast as that hyena can run. I think we might... No, that's an antelope there. I would say, I'm guessing though, you can't quote me on this, Abby, I would say not more than about, at a sprint, 55 kilometers an hour. I said this the other day about a jackal, and then the jackals can run much faster. They can reach between 70 and 80 kilometers an hour. So that's fairly quick, and they're quite small as well. I don't think they move very quick. They don't look like they're built for speed. They'd rather just try and tuck away and hide underneath a tree or a shrub or something, or in a den, in a burrow that goes underneath the ground. And David, it also looks like our lights have just decided not really to work either tonight. What a disaster! But these are the things that happen when you're out on safari and make it more exciting. You know, Jamie has to tell you the story. One day, Jamie's not on drive today, but when you meet Jamie, she must tell you about how she got stuck in the mud. That's always so exciting. You try and dig yourself out, or then sometimes you have to get someone to pull you out. That happens actually quite often. So it's actually really fun being a safari guide. You get to do the most adventurous things. And you can ask David's favorite thing to do is when the roads are nice and wet, when he's driving around, is to slip and slide. That's his absolute favorite. Dave the Drifter. That's another one. Ha ha! What have we got there? Almost dry. So that termite mound, there was little eyes that were peering out at me, but they disappeared behind that little shrub, that green shrub that's just in front of that termite mound. So I wonder, it was very small. It could have really been anything hiding there. No, it's now disappeared. I wonder what it could have been. We'll keep searching. This river road seems to be very lucky tonight. Oh, white-tailed mongoose! There it goes. There's another nocturnal critter. Yo, it's hiding very well though. You can just see its eyes. It is there. I promise you it is there. We'll just have to wait for it to move. It's hiding in the grass at the moment. So all these animals that we're seeing at night, they can be a little bit nervous. There it goes. It's running. You see it running? So this is the largest species of mongoose that we get, and it's the nocturnal one. Most of our mongoose species actually come out at night. That's really cool. We won't be able to see it anymore because that grass gets too tall, but it'll also be out looking for things to eat again, like the bat-eared fox. They love to eat insects, but they'll eat a bit of everything. Frogs. Mongoose are particularly good at eating frogs and toads. It's interesting how they do it. So they'll catch one, and especially if it's a toad, they have these parotid glands. So basically these glands that secrete a foul tasting substance. So it's a way to try and keep predators away. And they'll eat around it. They'll just leave them, which is quite amazing how they do that. But they eat a little bit of everything though. I've even seen them scavenging on carcasses. We saw that the other day, which I didn't know that they did. The animals do what they want out here. And it depends where you go, how that animal behaves. So if you buy any animal behavior books, make sure it's about that area that you're going to see those animals in, because it will be very different from somewhere else. So you have no idea how lucky you are to have seen bat-eared fox, to see a white-tailed mongoose. What else are we going to see? I'd like to see an aardvark, or an earth pig is the translation. That would be nice. We're coming to the water's edge now. This is the Mara River. We'll stop and have a quick look. There's sometimes two lions that like to hang around on the other side. So I'm not really going to put the spotlight on the hippos because it's not their favorite thing. Let's have a listen. You can actually listen to how fast the river is flowing. So some animals don't mind the light so much. Hippos are not a fan. They're all down there. You can just see them occasionally. I'll quickly show you there. I'm not going to put it on them just so you can see. They're going under. We see they're going underwater because they don't like the light, so we'll keep it off them. And then sometimes when they're out on land, you get ones that are relaxed, and then you'll get others that just run away. Craig and I actually had 2 hippos run into each other last night. It was quite funny. They panicked. There were lions about. And then they just started stampeding, and, well, 2 bumped heads. It sounded like a car crash. But it wasn't. It was just the hippos. They were both fine, though. They just shook their heads like that, and then they carried on eating, well, yeah, eating all the delicious grass. What else are we going to... Just lots of animals that we can't view with the spotlight, unfortunately. Mainly gazelle. And sometimes you can just drive for hours and hours and just not even see anything. David, are we still live? Now, unfortunately, final control, I can't look at my phone. Who am I linking to? Brent. Wonderful. Okay, I can't look at my phone and drive, unfortunately. So while we try and fix my communication, let's go back to...
Well, welcome back. So, guys, I hope you guys did a good roar. I'll be very disappointed if you didn't. So I want to know who had the best roar. Which of you had the best roar? Ooh, we've got some eyes in our spotlight. What could it be? That looked quite interesting. Let me just make sure there's nothing else around. Let's have a look. That looked like it could be a hyena, or maybe something a bit smaller. Let's see, they're just behind this bush. Where... Oh, it's being sneaky, whatever it is. Just have a look. No, let's go back, I think. No, there we go, Craig. You got the eyes there? What have we got there? That could be something very cool. Here we go. Oh, it's a little reed buck. Okay, I thought it was a hyena. So reed buck are very secretive little antelope, and that's why they sometimes move like predators. So you think sometimes they could be hyenas or things like that, but I think I know where I can find a hyena. Now, as I was saying, it is very cool that we are able to drive in the Mara at night. Now, Taylor and I are the only people who are allowed to drive around with spotlights, and isn't that exciting? So you literally never know what we might find. Hi Cheryl, who's in the Great White North, Canada. Cheryl, strange enough, we actually met a lovely couple from Canada yesterday, while we were on drive. They were from Toronto. But Cheryl would like to know, what animals would I like to spend more time with out here? Oh, Cheryl, all of them. I think probably I've been really enjoying my time with Cheetah at the moment. I've spent a lot of time with lions since I've been here, so I have been really enjoying my time with Cheetah. And of course, there are 2 wild dogs that randomly appear all around the Mara, and being my favorite animal, I'd love to spend some time with them. So we've got the big spotlight, but it is very heavy. It probably weighs about 10 pounds. No, maybe not, that's exaggeration. Probably about 7 or 8 pounds. So it does get a little bit heavy, so I've developed a new system. I'm actually thinking about trying to make a mount, and I can just put my hand on top of it and swivel, swivel, swivel. So it is an incredibly good spotlight. It is actually designed for the front of the car as a spotlight for the car, but I like a good spotlight, so we modified it to be able to use on drive so we can get some extra length while we are moving about, so we can see further away and find you more animals. And I said I'm going to try to find some hyenas. I think the lions are snoozing somewhere in this river system here. No, it's a buffalo. So for those of you wondering why we don't leave the light on any of the diurnal animals, so when I say diurnal, it means daytime animals. It's because we can blind them. Their eyes are designed differently to the nocturnal animals. So the nocturnal animals are able to take the spotlight, and they actually, it helps their night vision. Their eyes are designed to take in any ambient light from anywhere. Whereas some of the daytime animals, it can actually blind them for a short time. So if you see me stop and I look and I see it's a zebra or something like that, I'll take the spotlight off quickly and I'll carry on looking. So, yeah, so I don't need to do weights. Oh dear. Sorry, my spotlight stopped working and then I hit a hole. Oh dear. I think I know exactly where the problem is. Give me 30 seconds. So now I know everyone else is having some tech problems, and we have tech problems from time to time. This isn't so much a tech problem as a on-the-spot problem, and I'm going to turn on another light here. And one of the things about being live and out in the African bush, you need to know how to fix things in a hurry. So I'm just going to... I can't turn that off. So as I said, this is a modified spotlight. So I'm waiting for some lugs, and I'm sure some of you know what a lug is there. It's something that I can join two electrical wires together quite easily without them pulling out. But unfortunately, we don't have any of those in stock. They should have actually arrived while I've been on drive today, so I'll be able to make a more permanent solution. But till then, obviously now I'm rushing because I'm feeling the pressure of the camera on me. So I'm feeling the pressure, the camera's on me. So let's have some answers from the quiz while I try fix our spotlight. Ah, see, that's what happened. It got twisted. That's why it pulled out. Heidi says, a brave man. Okay. Now, what I'm doing is I'm actually twisting the two positive, no, it's actually the two negative wires together. And there we go. Let us have a test before there we go, spotlight back. Yay. Craig, do we have some insulation tape, please? I did have some. I think it is migrated to Camops. Camops. Well done to Ziggy, Janet, Kiwi, and many others who are spot on. It was Ewart Grogan, the first man to walk from Cape Town to Cairo. So there we go. Now, just so I don't shock myself more than I normally do, and that's just because sometimes when I look at myself in the mirror after a long day in the bush and I see what a state my hair and my face gets in, but I mean electrical shock myself this time. I'm just going to do that quickly and just tighten that up. And don't worry, I will fix this properly tomorrow with lugs, because they should have arrived from Nairobi today. But when you live out in the bush, often you have to just make a plan. And fortunately, most of us here are quite good at that. Thank you, Batman. And there we go. Spotlight fixed, on the run. Let's continue. Let me turn off that light. And voila! I'm quite... Whoa, there's that hole. I forgot about that. So I'm quite lucky. So I'm not, strange enough, the most technical human in the world. most of my fixes and whatnot, I've just had to learn from being stuck in the middle of the bush with no one to come rescue or help you. And I've been very blessed with a childhood spent entirely in the African bush, and fixing spotlights and steering arms and radiators. Who knew? You know, if you've got a leaky radiator and your car's overheating, you can fix it with soap. Lots of little tricks you learn after many years in the bush. And I wouldn't say I'm a good mechanic now. I'm probably barely competent, but when you do get stuck out in the bush, you don't have a choice. You just have to fix, or you can sometimes wait for 2 or 3 days. I think one of the more memorable stuck out in the bush occasions for me, I was about 19 years old. And I was working in Zambia, in the Kafue, or in the GMAs, the game management areas on the edge of the Kafue National Park. And we were heading in during the rainy season. And so we used to have a big old Bedford. Now, for some reason, I am cursed with Bedford trucks. They are horrible things. They're from World War II, and they just break down, or the four-wheel drive doesn't work properly. And the Bedford was going in. We're going in to build the camp for the dry season. And this Bedford, so what you call a dambo, which is a type of open grassland that you find in Miombo woodland. And and they get very, very flooded. So we were going in very early, so still during the wet season, to start building a camp in the northern Kafue. And this Bedford got so stuck in the mud. I mean, it was buried up to its axles. I mean, the tires come up to sort of over here on me, and more than half the tire was in the mud. And I was following a day or two later in my I was probably about 8 or 9 hours behind the Bedford in a Land Cruiser. And you know, at that age, you're full of bravado but not much brains. And I saw the Bedford there. Instead of stopping and going and have a look where I should cross, I just put into low range, and I thought I was an absolute hero and hit speed and tried to drive around the stuck truck, which all that meant is I got stuck next to the truck. And it rained again that day, and we were fortunately, we had a lot of food on the truck, but it took us 4 days to get that truck out. So I phoned my then boss on the sat phone, and I was like, well, boss, we're stuck here and all this. He's like, well, my boy, just get yourself out, and that's all you can do. So that's what we did. So it is quite wonderful, and I wouldn't trade my childhood for anything in the world. I've been absolutely spoiled to live and work and grow up in the places I have. I know many people would cut off their left leg to say, oh, I grew up in the Okavango Delta, and then before that, Pinda. I've worked in Zambia, Tanzania, Gabon, Namibia, South Africa, and all in some of the most spectacular wildlife areas in the world. So I do count my blessings, and fortunately, my long road in the bush led me to right here. So just a quick update for everyone. Unfortunately, Tristan and Taylor are out. So as I said a bit earlier, it's the Brent and Batman show. So I'm hoping to find some hyenas in this area. Hi, Judy. Judy's wondering, do the leopards hang out closer to the tree line? Indeed they do, but you do find them out in the Balanite zone. It all depends on what's around, but you will find the leopards sometimes out in the grasslands. They generally prefer the little luggers or the little river systems that run and crisscross through the Mara, because there's a bit of cover and the animals are going to come to drink. Why go look for the animals when the animals will come to you? Now, I've seen quite a lot of leopards since I've been here, but often at the moment they're in those little deep areas where we don't have the best signal. So we've often got to say, oh, aren't you a pretty kitty, and move along. Now we have, Craig and I had a lovely view of, or Batman, Craig, of the Majia Chafu female a couple of days ago. And I still think my leopard highlight in the Mara as we Dave and I had a male leopard go underground and pull out an adult warthog. That was quite spectacular and quite special. And that was also, it was live on our Facebook page when that happened. So it was very nice to be able to share it with you. And that's one of the most amazing things about what we do, is being able to share all these incredible encounters we have with you. There's a white-tailed mongoose scuttling about there. Let me go forward a bit for you, Craig. He's just done a runner. Where'd he go? White-tailed mongoose? Where's he run off to? Oh, he's moving there. Poppity, poppity, poppity. Oh, well, our white-tailed mongoose is disappearing into the... Oh, there he is. Into the long grass. Now, I was hoping to show you a hyena, but it seems like Taylor McCurdy has beaten me to the punch.
I have, Brent, but you won earlier this afternoon. You had hyenas coming out of your ears. And it's also another animal that's got fairly large ears, but it is fast asleep at the moment. It is not ready to wake up just yet. And hopefully it will lift its head up and look towards us. But yes, now this is our second hyena. At least you got to have a good look of the one that was running next to the car, obviously heading to something quite exciting. This one doesn't look like it's going to be heading anywhere for any... There you go. Hello. Yes. We're here. Just looking back at us. And it'll probably just relax here. Maybe if there's some other hyenas that call out, it will get up and it will head towards them. But for now, it is okay to relax. But they are on the go at night. We hear them around camp all the time. They're one of the most vocal animals that you'll hear, from the classic whoop, whoop. Apparently I can speak hyena, to the cackling and the giggling that they make, and that means all sorts of different things. But not doing too much though. And doesn't look like it wants to hunch us as well. And then here's another little creature. I'm not going to put the spotlight on it properly because it doesn't like the light. But you'll get an idea. That is a scrub hare. I'm surprised that hyena wouldn't go for something like this, because it would be a very easy meal to catch. Now it is out at night as well. They like to hide away during the day, and it is grazing, so they like to eat grass. Very dangerous for something so small to be out here. And you can see, look how nervous it is. Eats, and then pricks its ears up and looks around, because not only a hyena would eat it, but there's lots of big owls out here that would catch something like this. Jackals would go after a scrub hare too. Looks like Bugs Bunny, the shadow especially. So it has to be very careful. Right, okay, let's carry on. Let's see what other animals are out here. We're having lots of luck tonight, which is quite nice. We're very far away from home still. We've got to go all the way down there. You won't even be able to see the lights. It's so far away. But I'm surprised we haven't bumped into any lions, because we've driven the different prides of lions. We've driven their favorite spots and areas, favorite trees to sit underneath. But everybody's been absent. So I don't know what the excuse is or where the lions are all gathering today. And normally Brent, he's the king of cats. So if he can't find them, well then, I have no hope. Maybe someone will just walk in front of the road for us. That would be nice, eh? We'll just cross in front of our car. That would be the best thing. Oh, there's a hippo out of the water though. Now, it's probably going to run away. Let's see if we can quickly get a look. We're almost there. I'm just keeping the spotlight off it for now, so that I don't chase it away. But it's on our right hand side. There's another car coming. Hopefully they don't drive too quickly, or they maybe dim their lights and don't scare it away. Oh, no, I've got no brakes. There's our hippo. Me duck. I'll just keep the light on it just a little bit. It's quite a big hippo, hey? See, it's going down to the water now, so they come out at night to eat grass. I'm not sure if Brent's told you all of this already. And then they spend most of their day during the water, or in the water. And when they get scared, they will go back to water. But I don't think that's the case yet. Looks like the hippo may have been having a little bit of a drink too. There you go. Do you feel better in there? Isn't that cool? Okay, but I'm going to take the light off it now because it's a little bit uncomfortable with us. So we'll let it carry on, and hopefully it will just climb back out the other side, and off it will go and carry on eating all the lovely delicious grass. Hopefully it will stay out of trouble. I'm going to send you back across to Brent now, but it's been lovely meeting all of you, and I hope that you enjoyed all the interesting creatures that we had.
Welcome back, guys. I'm still looking for hyenas or lions or anything that might be about, but unfortunately I think they're avoiding me tonight. But it is an absolutely gorgeous evening. Hi, Elijah. Elijah would like to know, are hyenas nocturnal? Yes, they are, Elijah. They're most active at night, and they can cover massive distances, 20 miles in a night if they really want to. So yes, they are nocturnal. And most of your diurnal animals will be your herbivores, the ones that eat grass, zebra, impala, wildebeest, but you do have a few nocturnal ones like the hippopotamus. Well, Monroe Elementary, it's been spectacular. I hope you guys got some really good, big, loud lion roars away, and hopefully you'll join us on another live safari soon, and I'll be able to show you some real lions, and I won't have to make lots of noises like lions. Now, for everyone else, it's been always as awesome having you on the Brent and Batman show this afternoon, and we will be doing it all again tomorrow morning, and let's see what wonders the magical Masai Mara is going to offer. I think I might have a little dig at leopard again tomorrow morning. I've got a few sneaky secret spots that might work out, because I know how much a lot of you love leopard. But from all of us here at Safari Live in South Africa and in Kenya, we'll see you bright and early for the Sunrise Safari.